Hello and welcome back to another live episode of Game Bet Match podcast. I'm here to preview day 8 of Wimbledon, the second day of round of 16 matches. So there are 4 of them that I wanted to get into. Um, the first one is Kaboli versus Cilic. That's going to be at 11 a.m. London time. So Cilic started, I believe, as a slight favorite at minus 115. It's moved down to Cilic minus 105 on Bovada. Kaboli is now the slight favorite at minus 115. At first it seemed correct, but I've kind of sided with Cilic here. I think he has the decided edge on this surface. He has the better grass pedigree. He has the bigger serve. He has the more attacking game. I think he has the game that's more conducive to the surface. Kaboli is a battler, but I also feel like Cilic thrives on getting that first strike in. And if he can force Kaboli to defend, I think that that's going to be problematic. This match is going to be dictated on who gets that first strike in, because both guys like to be on offense. Both guys like to dictate the point. But I think Cilic is going to have a little bit more ease in doing that, just because he has the bigger serve and he has the bigger backhand, especially. He's also had the tougher matches. Like beating Draper was extremely impressive. I thought beating Munar was really impressive. Being able to kind of match him physically and stick in those rallies, I think was quite impressive. And I'm not taking too much stock into the Mensik win, just because I think Mensik really struggled in that match. He played really poorly. I think he had a bunch of double faults. Just seemed out of it. Didn't serve as well as he normally does either. So I think Mensik also really struggles to move on the grass. So I like Cilic here. People said on the timeline that Kaboli just beat him easily in straight sets at Roland Garros. That's all and well, but this is a different surface. Cilic is also a confidence-based player. He tends to, when he's confident, he's very, very dangerous. But when he's like struggling, he can go through patches where he can't find the court. So I think with Cilic, it's kind of a one or the other kind of deal. And like the fact that he's won 3 matches and he's feeling confident and moving well and has kind of had a second win in his career, late in his career. I think I don't mind backing him at this price. Now, if Cilic was the slight favorite, maybe I'd stay away. It's not like one of my favorite plays of the day, but I do like it. There are other cappers on Twitter. Some of our friends also like Cilic, and I tend to agree with them. I also like the 5-set line. I only like it if you get plus 200 or better. I saw some books only had like plus 190, plus 185. I would probably stay away there. But if you could get 2-1 or better, I think that's a decent play. Both of these guys are good competitors. I can't see it being straight sets either way. So if you have a sweat in the 4th set, I think I think it's worth a shot. So I like Cilic money line at minus 105, and I also like the 5-set line at plus 200 or better. Going on to the second match, we got Novak Djokovic against Alex de Minaur. This is a match which Djokovic really should dominate. He's been in really good form. He's been playing probably the best tennis he has in the last couple of years, besides the Olympics last year. He's serving exceptionally well. The match against Mio Kecmanovic was excellent from his part, especially after he had that circus point, I believe at 3-all or 4-all. he really dominated all proceedings. Now, I think, De Minaur is obviously a tougher opponent than Kecmanovic, but I also think that this is a great matchup for Novak. Demon kind of thrives on outgrinding guys, being kind of mentally tougher, digging in, being more competitive than his opposition. But, he can't really exceed Novak in any of those facets. And Novak, he can match De Minaur or exceed in all of those facets. Plus, he has the better game. He has the better serve. He has the better backhand. More weapons. I think he's just a better tennis player. And De Minaur has, a pretty high floor, but he also has a pretty low ceiling. And when you play these top guys and you want a chance to win a Grand Slam match against, the big boys, Alcaraz, Sinner, and Novak, you need a game with a high upside. You need, ability to kind of take the racket out of their hands, i.e. like a Sasha Bublik. And De Minaur is just not that kind of guy. Plus, I think De Minaur's form is not quite as good as it was at the beginning of the season. I do think he's silenced those question marks about being mentally tired and fatigued after his comments at the French Open. But I don't think he's playing with quite the same intensity and the same tenacity as he was earlier this year. I mean, he was better in the key moments against August Holmgren, but August Holmgren is a middle tier challenger level player. It's a huge step up in class playing Novak, especially the form he's shown in the first 3 rounds. So I'm on a lot of pro Novak lines. We really like, as a GBM play, me and Brad, we really like Novak to win and no tiebreaks at plus 175. That's available on Bovada. That's Brad's bet of the day as well. On the 3 breakpoint platform. We like the no tiebreaks just because we don't think this is going to be a serve-oriented contest. This is De Minaur is a guy that doesn't have the biggest serve. Novak should have a ton of looks to break. And I think the same goes for De Minaur. I think he's going to have a few looks to break himself. If Novak, his first serve percentage dips a little bit, I think he should have some looks to break as well. So usually tie breaks you play, if they're big servers, obviously with the no tiebreak back, you can break back, but I think Novak should win this fairly comfortably. I also wanted to kind of take a stab at some pro Novak lines. I like the under 18.5. You can get 5-1 on Bovada if you play it, I believe, in the prop menu. I also like Novak to win, love 1 or 2 at 90-1. I think that nearly cashed at the Australian Open when they played a couple of years ago. I don't think Novak is quite at that level that he was at that time, but I think it's worth a stab at that price. So I'm definitely on pro Novak. I think he's proven that the only 2 guys that can beat him at this tournament are Sinner and Alcaraz. And unless I see anything different, I'm not gonna go any other way. I think he seems pretty good. He seems pretty, maybe not quite at the GOAT level that we've seen 5-6 years ago, but he's kind of he's close, and he's definitely the closest to those top 2. Next match, Shelton against Sonego. So this is my bet on the 3 breakpoint platform tomorrow. I love Shelton to win and both guys to win a set at plus 125. They've played in the previous 2 Grand Slams. Shelton won both of them. He won in Australia in a tight 4-setter, and then he won at the French Open in 5. I can't really see this being any different. I think Shelton is going to pull this out, but I think it's going to be competitive. Now, people are going to be concerned about Sonego's physicality just because he played 4.5 hours against Nakashima, went to a 5th set breaker. I mean, Sonego has never really shown signs of physical, fragility. He's been pretty strong physically. He's a high energy player. I think adrenaline is going to carry him. So I'm not too concerned about that. I do think Shelton has a obviously better serve. I think he's a little bit more mentally stable. I think his baseline level is a little bit higher than Sonego's. That being said, Sonego can find that purple patch. He is an erratic player, but erratic can be good or bad. And sometimes a lot of times it's bad, obviously, but there are also times where he can find that good level and kind of take the racket out of Shelton's hand. So I think he'll be good for a set here, especially with Shelton's poor returning, and Sonego's does have a decent first serve, especially. So if Sonego's getting a bunch of first serves in, I think he's going to be able to keep sets competitive, and probably squeak one in a tie break, or maybe get a late break in a set. So I'd be surprised if this is 3-0 either way, but I do like Shelton to win. Shelton to win is way too juiced, so I got to play it this way if I want to get some value out of it. So that's my favorite play of the day, and I got 2.5 units on it. Going into the last match, it's Jannik Sinner against Grigor Dimitrov. So with Alcaraz's struggles failing to win by margin, Sinner is the master of that. He's been absolutely incredible. He's had obviously a weak draw, but I'm convinced that if Alcaraz played those 3 guys that Sinner's played, he'd probably lose sets as well. Sinner just beats him down. No questions asked. It's no drama, just gets to business and dusts them away. So I kind of expect similar things here with Dimitrov. I don't think Dimitrov has the weapons to really hurt him here. I'm glad that he made the 4th round, and he's shown that he's kind of back to being decently healthy, where he can complete these matches. But I just think Sinner is going to bully him around the court. I don't think Dimitrov is going to have the necessary weaponry to get through him. Now, I like a lot of the pro Sinner lines. I like the under 31.5. I think that's a couple of games off. I really think this should be at more like 29.5. You can play the under 18.5 on Bovada. I believe you can get plus 250 if you play it in their prop menu. I think it's under 18.5, but it has to be in 3 sets. But obviously, if there's an 18.5 under 18.5, it's gonna be a 3-set line pretty much. I also like any set to nil at 9-1. I think that's worth playing, just because I think Sinner has won a ton of sets to nil this season. I know he did it a bunch in the clay court swing, but another thing with Sinner is that he eats up slices so well. He attacks them so mercilessly. It's incredible. So I think Dimitrov, obviously he has a good backhand slice. He's going to defend with that a lot, but I think it's just going to force him to be in more defensive positions in rallies, and it's going to be problematic. So we saw him destroy him in the Miami final when Dimitrov was in better form than he is now. So you put it here in a best-of-5 match, I just can't expect much. I think this is going to be beatdown city. So my plays in that match, I like the Sinner to win and no tie breaks as well. You can get even money on that. I think Sinner is going to have tons of looks to break here. I like the under 31.5. I like the under 18.5 games in 3 sets, and I like the any set to nil. So any kind of combination of a pro Sinner line, I do like that. I actually wouldn't mind parlaying the Sinner 3-0 and the Djokovic 3-0 if you can get a decent odds on that. So maybe you could, if you want to be more conservative in the parlay, you could do like a Shelton -1.5 sets kind of thing. I don't know, but there are multiple ways to play tomorrow's slate. Um, Better matches on paper than today, but I think a few of these matches are not going to be that competitive, especially the Djokovic and Alcaraz, Djokovic and Sinner matches. Um, Now, moving on to challengers this week, there are, I think, 5 challengers. So, with less matches going on at Wimbledon, I definitely will dabble, especially now that Luke has kind of joined us with our 3 break points. I kind of want to start learning more about challengers, kind of talking a little bit more about it on our platform. So I like Navoni -1.5 sets against Buse at -105. I'll be playing that. In Newport, I really like James McCabe, -2.5 games against Cressy. Cressy's just been absolutely awful. His decline from early 2020s to now is just precipitous. He's still throwing tons of double faults in. McCabe is a guy that played at Wimbledon, and I believe he qualified. So I definitely don't mind backing him. I like Alex Bolt money line against School Kate. I just think Bolt is a superior grass court player. Showed something this grass court swing as well. And the Winnipeg, I like Andres Martin against Galarno over 2.5 sets. They played a 3-setter in Cary this week. Galarno has kind of fallen off from where he was earlier this year. So the fact that I'm getting +140 and not +125 or +130, that's a play as well. So bunch of challengers this week, finishing off Wimbledon. A bunch of exciting times coming. Hopefully we do a pod sometime this week, to recap what we've seen at Wimbledon. Yeah, we're going to continue with the 3 break points. Hopefully some more GBM and popcorn tennis this week, and we'll keep it going, keep it running. So thanks again for all the support. All the engagement has been phenomenal. And we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Have a good night.